good afternoon. Well, you know what we're here for. Well, we got a little bit of salty action from the last video, and I got a comment to read verbatim because I don't want to read anything incorrectly. I don't want to misquote anybody, so I'm gonna read it. But this is simply for dialogue, because if there's not understanding, we gonna get it clear, and I'm gonna make sure my point is clear, because we're gonna have to go over it until you got it. All right, so let me go ahead and read this comment real quick. All right. Saying stop dealing with women that you'll have a problem getting stuck with is the same as telling a woman stop dressing provocatively to avoid SA, stop going into dangerous neighborhoods. I say this because while those factors do hinder the chance, it doesn't remove it. It entirely doesn't leave any accountability on the woman, and only the man in scenarios like this. Both sides can or will be at fault. The law should not punish the man for making a choice to not have a child. Your body, your choice, not your body, everyone's choice. Now we'll start from the top. Yeah, obviously it won't eliminate it even if you do like her, but even like you acknowledged, it hinders it. The whole point is to hinder it and be as careful as possible. You know, the whole deal of the last video was not taking unnecessary risks. And on the next, on your analogy with the women in the neighborhoods and how they're dressing provocatively, that's nowhere near the same, because the men are making a choice. They're choosing this. A man could literally avoid that entire situation by not dealing with women at all. The women, on the other hand, it's by force. So they didn't have a choice in the matter. So that's a poor analogy. Now, on the other part that you mentioned with it, not where a man being able to say that I don't want it if she could say that she doesn't want it. Me personally, on that conversation, there's so many layers to it and so many issues. I personally don't have a take on it. Like I actually sit on the sidelines on that conversation because there's no fair suggestion. I'll take that back. I do have one way to fix it. If people stop being irresponsible, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Boom. The easiest way to fix that problem is that women stop being irresponsible and men stop being irresponsible. That's it. That's it. It's stop walking away because they expecting a Disney fairy tale. This man stop walking away because he think the grass is greener on the other side, or whatever the case scenario, or he's too nice, or she didn't gain weight. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. People need to learn how to meet in the middle, discuss the matter, have conversation, and negotiate. The issues that's being ran into is people are not negotiating, but irresponsible interaction is a no-no in general, because you can't even stand dealing with the person. You got the point. So I guess what I'll second you on is as far as the point of the law, and this is my fix for it. Do what you're supposed to do. Everybody. Women do what you're supposed to do. Men do what you're supposed to do. We not even gonna go into the conversation of, if the man get a pregnant, she signed up. Nah, we don't even need to discuss all that. All y'all need to get your act together. Point blank, period. End of the discussion. Ain't nothing else to add to it. Nothing. And if you're wondering why I take that stance, is because if you take accountability off one side, it's always gonna shift one way too much or the other way too much. It's always going to shift too much to one side, and it's not going to be fair. And people, the thing about people is, when you, like, remember that, was it give them a foot, they'll take a mile? You give them a yard, they'll take a mile. You know what I'm talking about. You give people a little bit of leeway. You give them a little bit of ground, man, they taking the whole football field, man. They are going to go over and beyond. Now, to the fun part. I'm a fair guy. I'm pretty fair. And like I said before, if you recall, I said you were right. So what we're going to do today is show your example, a sample of your example. See, but this one's worse than just like. They got married. Damn. Let's go ahead and check out what we got going on.
I've decided to cut Maddie out of my will because you just don't go out there and trash your parents and expect there to be no repercussions.
Bite the hand that feeds you.
My will is actually a trust plus a will, but that's all been rewritten now. I still love Maddie.
Yes, sir. Love her, but hold her accountable.
Maddie's my daughter, but I don't want one penny of my money
funding
going
her
to promote material that she's now putting out there.
Oh.
She's an adult. She can do whatever she wants.
Yep.
But I'm not going to subsidize this activity.
You know, he ain't playing subsidize that activity. You know, a business parent for real when they start using lingo and verbiage of the market. You know what I'm saying, in business. But side note, before we get too deep in, I want to compare the parenting styles of LTG if he had a daughter versus how it goes with this guy with the daughter.
We talking about my future daughter, not just y'all are fucking with. If my daughter brought home a collegiate athlete, I would make sure I'll tell her, I'll be like, whatever you do, get pregnant by this is your meal ticket. Don't you realize if you get pregnant by you can lock it down for 18 to 21 years? Do it. But dad, like, I don't want to, then you date. The whole point is to get a bag. The are you with? To cook for him? Get pregnant. Lock it down for 18 to 21. Nigga to slip up. What did I teach you? How to serpent and poison ivy?
Title of today's video, why I cut my daughter out of my will. You guys remember Ben Hart, the breakdancing dad? Well, if you don't, let me catch you back up real quick. He went viral several months ago after his daughter, who's famous on TikTok, dropped content insinuating that he was a deadbeat father. The breakdancing dad responded in his own videos to clarify the situation, in which he talked about the multiple millions of dollars that he left his ex-wife to take care of the children, and also talked through the medical expenses, updated us on like weird stories of him being thrown in jail by a feminist judge, and as the wife continued to create distance between him and the family. One of the comments that I would see often in my updates about this situation is Ben should just cut her out of the will. Well, he did. And he provides a lot more information and a lot more receipts detailing exactly why. I think it's important to go over this story because it demonstrates not only the impact of a well-poisoning parent, in this case it is the mother, but then also the infection of programming with a hint of social media addiction.
Now, before we move forward, I'm only going to post very select portions that stand out to me, but this is a long video. You're going to have to keep up with what happened, you'd have to start from the beginning to really know what's all taking place with this scenario. But one of the things I want to touch on is this right here.
Her mom being the supposed hardcore Christian conservative. But Maddie saw nothing in her mom that suggested that her mom was living in accordance with any Christian principles. Maddie saw her mom as a phony and a hypocrite. So Maddie moved in a different direction, in rebellion against her mom, in reaction to her mom. And we'll come back to this. So the conversation goes on, and I'm very good-natured about it. I say, quote, I thought 90% of it was fine, but abandoning the family and not paying medical bills will really hurt me professionally. I would appreciate it if you will just take this down and redo it. I know you meant no harm. Love, Dad. Maddie answers, and I put her answer up here if you'd like to read it, but she concludes that it's too late to redo. Too many people have seen it, she says. So I repeat my request. Can you just take it down? Maddie answers, no, it's too late. It's already been reposted. You should just own it. Your breakdancing is viral and people love it.
What she doesn't understand about business is that's very harmful to his business. When you're infamous on the internet, it never goes away. Like, people who go out here and just think you could just do whatever you want to on the internet and there's no ramifications, and people are just, oh, they'll just forget. No, they will remember. You'll become irrelevant, but they will never forget what you did. Like, for example, nobody's talking about a lot of people. Cash Me Outside is not getting talked about, but regardless, she will be Cash Me Outside for forever. She will always be Cash Me Outside from Dr. Phil Show. It doesn't matter how much time passes. Lil Xan will always be known for his Tupac statements. SoundCloud rappers like Lil Yachty and them will always be known for what they did on the way in. Again, it is what it is. It does not go away. When you do something online, it's there. And like he said, taking it down is not going to fix it because people have already clipped it. It's too late. It's up. She's right there. However, she did need to come back on there and clarify and basically take that L and say, hey, I'm sorry, I spoke a little recklessly about my dad. I didn't really know all the facts, and I was kind of irresponsible the way that I displayed my dad. But see, that's not what you did. You liked all those views. You liked all the responses you were getting. You loved playing the victim, right? You wanted to play victim.
Did not pay medical bills, did not abandon the family for breakdancing, did not abandon you kids, and certainly was not a deadbeat dad, as many in the comments are interpreting this, end quote. Maddie answers, I said you didn't pay some medical bills, which is true, and you did abandon us. Maddie's video actually does not say that I did not pay some medical bills. She just said I didn't pay her medical bills.
Right.
This guy wouldn't pay my medical bills.
That is not true. But as we will see, this is not a lie. It was false, but not a lie. A lie is when you knowingly state something that is false. Maddie was just repeating the lie that she had been told for years by her mom, a self-proclaimed Christian. We'll come back to this. I texted Maddie, quote, Maddie, these are the comments I'm getting in my Twitter and social media feeds. Here are a few of the comments. There are thousands like them, accusing me of being a deadbeat dad. Maddie answers, ugh, I'm sorry, Dad. And she goes on saying that this will blow over in a few days. And you can read more of her thoughts here if you like. She concludes, In the future, I will be more careful. I thought it was funny and light. I love you.
This happens whenever I go viral. It's par for the course. Going viral isn't all gumdrops and roses. Yo, this chick is sick. You forced your father to go there on false information, and now you're talking about it isn't all gumdrops and roses. Yeah, what? There's a ton of people in my comments who love you. There was an overwhelming amount in the comments that did not love him. They're saying that you're inspiring, legendary, and iconic. This is the exact definition.
Now, typically, I'm always about facts, and I would go ahead and look it up to get the comments, but I highly doubt, I highly doubt in your comments section, on the one that you called your father a deadbeat and said he abandoned the family, that there was overwhelming support in your comments section. You know what was in your comments section. Whew. That, ooh, child, I ain't, man. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. That's all I'm gonna say, boy. Hell no.
Right, like, while they might be saying this, again, it's not the overwhelming. They're saying that it's cool you picked this up as a hobby and got amazing at it at your age. I can send you some screenshots and some nice comments of that, if that will help. Other than that, I suggest you set your account to private for a few days. You don't need to delete anything, just set to private. That's what I do. Anytime one of my TikTok ends up on the wrong side of the internet and the haters stream it, I just go private for a few days, exclamation point. In a few days, this will blow all over. It always does, but truly, people think it's a funny and inspiring story. Think people on X don't get humor or silliness.
Here if you like. She concludes, in the future I will be more careful. I thought it was funny and light. I love you. I answer, I know you meant no harm. I liked 95% of it. And overall I know that you meant it as a compliment. Love, Dad. Maddie tries to be reassuring. People in my comments...
Yo, man, that is crazy. Like, the amount of disrespect this man is taking, I get it. I get the generation he comes from. I get he's a giver. I get he doesn't really let things bother him. But, brother, man, like, you taking way too much. You taking way too much of a beating. And I get it. He's at a happy point in his life, and everything's turned around. All things are good. And I'm not saying the man needs to move on vengeance or anything. But come on, man. You got to put your foot down. And the reason why you got to put your foot down, which I mean he has with the will stuff, but the reason why you got to put your foot down stern, because you're going to hurt your kids, man. That's going to hinder your kids. Like, you need to put your foot down not only just for you, you're setting a bad example. The example you're setting, let's say your sons see that and they're like, yeah, man, I think I want to be like Dad. Dude, you know how much crap they're going to go through, and they may not be able to bounce back from it. Like, and again, all men are not the same, and I don't expect you to poke your chest out and have it to where you're stern and all that. It ain't in everybody. I get that. But I'm going to tell you something. You really will hinder your kids letting them get away with everything and anything and not holding them accountable.
3 exclamation points. I answer, I'm sure there are a few positive ones. I've had to block about 30 people. How many views does it have? Jake Tapper from CNN just followed me. I wonder why. At this point, I didn't know that Maddie's video had 8 million views. I did not have a TikTok account. Maddie tries to be reassuring again. She says, this is like when I went super viral on Fox News. People said a lot of horrible stuff.
She didn't answer the
narrative, and I owned
the
it
amount.
And used it for my advantage. I also made all of my accounts private for a few days. The next day, I wrote this. Maddie, I posted a video on your video. I think you'll like it. I hope you'll post it on your TikTok feed. I think people will love it. You can download the file from Dropbox here. Maddie answers, haha, I love it. But I don't want to stoke the fire anymore. I never wanted this to be dramatic. I just wanted to post a silly, humorous thing. Now
she's saying this as she's reveling in the 8 million views. Of course not. I'm never going to take down this content. It's the drug feeding her. This is like telling a to take the out of their arm.
But good for you for embracing it. And she ends her text message with 3 big hearts for love, love, love. And Maddie and I absolutely do love each other. Always have, always will. Nothing.
I'm going to be honest with you, brother. I think you may love her unconditionally as your daughter, but I don't know what kind of love that she's showing you.
The 10-minute response video I put up was very lighthearted. Basically, I said I liked 95% of Maddie's video, but that there were some significant inaccuracies that had to be corrected. I didn't have much of a social media following. I thought my video might get at most a few hundred views. My main purpose for posting it was for people who were asking me about Maddie's video, including my clients and friends. I could then just send them the link to the video rather than explain it each time, to the dozens of people who were asking me about it. And so far, my relationship with Maddie had remained very good. She liked my response video, gave it 3 hearts for love. But the bottom line was she was not going to correct her video, nor was she going to post my 10-minute correction video on her feed. She was clearly not at all threatened by my response video.
She's a bully.
Basically, she liked it, thought it was funny. She clearly thought it would just get a few hundred views, as did I. No big deal, this would pass, and our relationship would remain intact. Welp, my 10-minute response video got 33 million views on X. Elon Musk even commented,
Look at his face.
Our dueling videos got worldwide media attention. Time Magazine, Newsweek, The Daily Mail, The Daily Beast, and it seemed like just about every major YouTube and social media content creator was commenting on it.
Her dad apparently became like a D-list celebrity, became the oldest actively competing breakdancer in the world, went on Good Morning America, went super viral, etc., etc. But she added that he wouldn't pay her medical bills. Then comes Ben, stage name Benny Hanna, with a 10-minute reaction video and some pretty good-natured corrections. He claimed he lived close by after the divorce, did pay medical bills, child support, put money into a college fund to the tune of around $5 million all in all to cover the cost of the kids, and said he saw his kids often when they were growing up. But he did admit that from his daughter's perspective as a 5-year-old, it might seem like abandonment, but that in his opinion, it was not a totally accurate account. Whilst we watch this father-daughter union play out in real time, obviously Elon Musk weighs in to tell Ben, you're awesome. I didn't even know. But this has got me thinking, Ben is getting absolutely dragged online with people calling him a deadbeat dad and like loads of other grim stuff. Are these internet call-outs fair? Like, should we be airing our dirty laundry on TikTok? Because I've seen these happen time and time again, and it always turns out that there's another side to the story.
At this point, events turned dark. Maddie went up with a much more negative second video that was filled with even more inaccuracies.
I know my dad posted like a 10-minute video or whatever being like, you know, my daughter's lying, we have a great relationship, I have a great relationship with all my kids. That's just objectively not true. Like, guys, we're all freaking out about this in my family group chat right now. We're being like, he's so unhinged and delusional. We don't know if he actually believes his own narrative or if he's lying on purpose, but he's just like a weird guy. Yeah, he said he lived.
He's posting all the family videos that she's saying that.
Months maybe, but I don't want to get into this. Like, again, like my video was basically like sanitizing the situation and like poking fun at the lightest parts of that childhood trauma, but obviously in real life it was a lot more like complicated and traumatic, and it was really hard. He left us, immediately married another woman. We didn't hear from him for years, and then he would visit every few months and we'd go out to dinner, but like he truly had no hand in raising us at all. Some money growing up, I honestly don't know the nitty-gritty of the financial situation. I really don't. Bottom line is this guy was a completely absent father.
So then I went up with a more detailed response video to this, which pretty much documented our relationship. Upon graduation from Northwestern University, Maddie asked me for $5,000 to help her get established in Los Angeles, what she called adult startup money. She wanted to become a screenwriter in Hollywood. I was no fan of this career path at all, but this is what she wanted to do. And it's why she was a theater major at Northwestern University. She'd also done theater all through middle school and high school, had a YouTube channel, won the lead role in a number of big productions. So this had been the direction she was determined to go all of her life.
To go to Northwestern, as expensive as what Northwestern University is, and to leave a theater major, right? Like, you're paying all of that money and you're not coming out with a STEM degree, seems absolutely insane to me, and it demonstrates the privilege that Ben's finances allowed her.
And she's also very good at sweet-talking me. So I reluctantly agreed to give her the $5,000 for adult startup money. Pretty stupid, I know.
Woo! But he was a deadbeat dad, right? And I know you're probably wondering what this is gonna be it for me, but I know you're probably wondering is how they related to that comment. Well, on that comment, there was the conversation about the kids and the men's right to keep and all of that. Well, this is the other end of when the couple was together, the couple was married. And to sum it up, because this is it's a lot. It's like I'm like 2 hours worth of footage. And I'm gonna cut it short. You can go get all the details if you like, but basically this man took care of his family. He was very well off, made a lot of money. The wife wanted to move to a big house. I mean, she extended the house. She was just running up the check while she wasn't making any money. In the divorce, he paid her millions of dollars. He paid all this alimony. He offered up, it was also, I think it was $100,000 something dollars, but he didn't have all the money at the time. So he got jailed for money that he willingly offered. Yeah, he got put in jail for that because he couldn't provide an answer when he could provide the money after the ex-wife ruined all of his business and then talked bad about him to the kids, made up lies. I mean, it was just thing after thing after thing. And again, this is with somebody he was married to, right? So, like I said, I'm fair, but since he brought it up, then I'll bring up the other side of it, and man, it could get very ugly. But see, child support don't sound so bad now, do it? This man came out millions. You remember when I told y'all it's far more expensive to stay at the house, when it's far more expensive to live with him and have a family? How much money this man then spent? If this man went on his own way and literally, let's just say off of his high income, let's just say this man paid child support based on his high income, he still would have paid far less than actually being there with the kids for the time he was there and dealing with that woman firsthand. So again, It's just also proving my point that you're going to spend a whole lot more if it stays together. You know, I'm not saying don't have a family or work it out and stuff like that, but I'm just saying if you want to say child support versus the real expenses staying with them is far more expensive. And I want to be clear on the point I'm making here. I'm not telling somebody to do or not do anything. And LTG supposedly paying allegedly $1,000 a month. Now, it is nothing in comparison to all of this man or what all this man spent while he was dealing with the family and his ex-wife. He spent a whole lot more. If this man only would have paid $1,000, he wouldn't have had to start over multiple times or get locked up or do none of that. So y'all call that a bag? That ain't no bag. What he paid was a bag. You know, but anyways, if you kicked it with your boy this long, I appreciate you hanging with me. But in the meanwhile, I'm out. Have a good one.
Call him absent. Meanwhile, you're utilizing him as an ATM machine for things so minor, such as you were sick this week and need extra money for groceries. But notice how when she recants this, she never drops receipts. But Ben's been dropping the receipts the entire time.
Who here has daddy issues?
And here's Maddie requesting $300 for a tapestry that she wanted for her apartment. Quote, "Hi, Dad," 3 exclamation points. "For Christmas, I want a specific fabric tapestry. I've been eyeing it forever and want it in my room so badly." 2 exclamation points. It's $300.